This right here is somewhat alarming. I asked a question on you on Instagram. I wish I had it pulled up. I might pull it up in a minute. But Leonardo DiCaprio is 49. His girlfriend, I guess, or lover is 19. I'm gonna put a poll up. But what is a reasonable age gap when you're dating? We're gonna get a hot take from Liberty Dragon. Christy, I'm gonna hand it to you first. Your thoughts on this man being what 30 years older than this woman almost? Go ahead, sis.
I've already we've talked about this before, and I know that we kind of went back and forth whenever I talked about, if it's a 70-year-old and a 100-year-old, I don't see a big deal. I think it all boils down to life experiences, and a 20-year-old and a 50-year-old have absolutely none of the same life experiences. A 20-year-old has never even had their first drink yet. Well, they probably have, but not legally. I just think that it's another way of degeneracy. And yeah, she's 19 years old. Like, what life experiences has she had? None. Zilch. Zero. I would absolutely like strangle my son. I would do it.
Christy, highlight any good comments. Lib, give us your hot take.
I don't think it's that hot of a take, but let's be honest. If you're a successful, top G, high value man, you're looking for women who have less experiences. You don't want a woman with a bunch of experiences because let's be honest. Did it freeze? Okay, let's be honest. If you have some chick and you take her on a jet, that's her first time on your jet. She's like, wow, this is so cool. And if not, maybe she'll be like, wow, last guy's jet was a little bit bigger than your jet or a little bit cooler. Men and women want different things. Men want a woman who's easygoing, has less experiences, and won't try to compare her to a bunch of dudes because she had sex with a million guys. You got to deal with a million different dudes, and she's always going to have them on her mind. But I think there's a big difference in the distinction between men trying to prey on young women and men trying to start a family. And obviously, let's be honest, Leonardo DiCaprio just seems like a predator. He's not out here starting families. He's not out here trying to find love. And 30 years, that's pretty crazy. Let's be honest. I think 20 years is like pushing it, but that's acceptable depending on how young the woman is. Let's not go get weird under the age of consent over here. But 30 years,
30-year-old would be okay with you, Liv?
A what?
A 19-year-old and a 39-year-old would be okay with you if it was the 20-year difference?
I mean, not necessarily, but it would depend. It depends. If they start a family, because throughout history, lots of successful relationships have been like that, and they've stayed together, and they've had families, and they've loved each other. So I think general rule of thumb, most of the time, when it's that much of an age gap, it's usually an older guy who is lower value, preying on younger women because they don't know any better. So I think there are exceptions to the rule, but a lot of times it's just men trying to prey on women. But if it's a man starting a family, I think that's different distinction. If you stay together and loves her, that's different,
I'll say this, y'all. If you want to get some good commentary, go to the Facebook or my Instagram, Nino America. There's some great comments, y'all. This is a very hot button topic. We're going to touch on Shaq and his girl next time. But I want to highlight a certain comment from my brother, Hector. I forgot his last name, but this is a brother got jailed on J6 He says, yeah, I'll go ahead and blame the man. She could be his daughter. But who's going to blame the gold digging woman? Because she's an adult who can vote, shoot, drive, go to college, obtain an education, work in the adult industry, be a stripper, etc. It's always us men that are wrong. They're both extremely wrong and bad examples to society. I think that's a pretty valid statement. I mean, she's old enough to vote. She's old enough to, I wouldn't say drink. I guess you can't drink at 18, I guess. But she's an adult at this moment, right? I mean, legally, let's be honest. And, we can't just blame DiCaprio here. So what is the thin line here? I just say this. My daughter is, I want to say 18, 19. Forgive me, Christiani. But she's 19, right? Let's say she's 19. She's still a little girl in my eyes, and not just me being her father, just me, the way I raised her. She's not like what's the word called, sis? She's not really advanced or she's not too grown for her britches, for lack of better words. That's how my daughter is, right? So if I saw my daughter with a man over 30, I'd have a big problem. You know what I mean? Because my daughter is still like a baby girl, in my opinion. That just goes to the question is, what's too young? Because is an 18-year-old in America in 2024, is that a mature person? Does a person mature by the time they're 18? I'm like, hell no, probably 25, maybe 30, they'll mature, right? But for a girl and a guy, I know there's, somewhat of a difference. People have different perceptions. But like I said, how young is too young, y'all? I think, to be honest, 18 to 21, that's too young in my opinion. That person is still impressionable, especially if it's a woman, even boys. But a woman, I think, they really ain't really fully mature in their mind. I'm saying the mind, nothing else. In their mind, I would say they're probably pretty mature. I would think or imagine and dare to say 25. But 18 to 21 to 23, 24, that's too close to the teens, in my opinion. Go ahead, Christine. With the comments are going on fire like always. Go ahead, sis.
I mean, you look at a 19-year-old, they're usually 1 year out of high school. Most kids graduate like 17, maybe 18 years old. Like I said, there's no life experiences that can connect them. He wants arm candy. She wants a rich man. And that's all it boils down to. I don't care about a man wants somebody that doesn't have all these experiences. It's vile and reprobate behavior. It's disgusting. And he's old enough to be her father. And just like Britt says, she has daddy issues, I'm sure.
Sis, I mean, she could even be her old enough to be his grandfather. I mean, I know some people that had kids real early. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Liv. Hold on. Moderators. I don't know. Moderators. Someone said they got banned for 3 words. Keep it easy, y'all. I don't know if anybody did, but let's let the free speech roll. Y'all know the rest. Go ahead, Liv.
You know what you've seen? You want me to ban you? You got it, because you've been disrespectful every time you've came in here. So here's some for you. Bye-bye.
Damn. Don't piss off. All right, go ahead, Liv.
Take that L. Take it to the bank and deposit it. Bam. Okay, anyways, listen, there's a shout out Sad Girl, very loyal supporter. She had a good comment. She said Leo needs to marry them instead of just adding a body to the roster. And that's true. If you find a young woman who doesn't have that many experiences, who looks up to you, and you just have sex with her and then leave her, you're like ruining a pure woman. And I think that's predator behavior, truly, because that's obviously what he's doing. He's not trying to start another family. He's not trying to get another baby mom and take care of this chick. He's just having fun and then moving on to the next one. I think that's really where it gets super degenerate, because all he's trying to do is just take advantage of her innocence.
Okay. So
not protect her.
But I want to go to this comment, and I can't find it now.
Christy, hold on. Before you say that, I want to ask another question. I want to interject something. Find the comment, sis. But I'm going to ask this, though. Christy's on fire. You know it, y'all. Don't mess with Christy. She got her phone back.
Big Christy.
Hold on. You get on my nerves.
Hold on.
There you go.
The point is, hey, if we need to mod anybody up else up, let's mod some more people up, our people. I'm going to ask this, though. So if someone plans to marry a young girl, are we going to be more inclined to not turn a blind eye, but are we going to be more inclined to allow it to happen? I think Liv had an interesting take there. Like I will be honest, I kind of would be more inclined, to respect the man if he's older and he's planning to marry a younger woman. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too crazy over here, but I think that's right. If Leonardo DiCaprio is just, partying and using this girl up and she's okay with this, she's an adult, whatever. But I think it looks bad. But if, like Liv said, if he's trying to marry her, I see a little bit of leniency. Let me know what you think in the comments. Go ahead, Christy.
Rob said it best. He said it doesn't work, that the women are using the men for whatever they can get out of them. I just don't agree. Like, I don't care if they get married. You still have to have some kind of moral compass. And we've become so desensitized to all this. And I say the same words over and over to the point that my head feels like it's going to explode. Like, where is just normalcy? Why do we have even people online that mess with people's emotions and feelings? I have friends that I absolutely love with all my heart that have been taken advantage of by people online and in real life and all these things. And it's just disgusting. You can never make me change my mind. I don't care if they get married. I don't care What?
No, I was gonna let you go. I was gonna interject that, but you just said it. I was gonna say, so you think if they get married, because Jessica has a point, that's how it was done long ago, and marriages lasted forever. Let's be honest, Christy. A lot of our parents and even really our grandparents, they married the grandfather. I think my grandfather, I don't know how the numbers here, but I think he married my grandmother, and she was very young. And I've heard of people in the family. I'm not gonna say which parts of my family, but they said that they were a certain age, and the husband, was eagle eyeing her, for lack of better words. And I'm just saying, back in the day, I think it was not more common, but it wasn't frowned upon for an older person to try to marry a younger person. And I think some of our grandparents were in those shoes. Christy,
My
do you agree?
grandparents were, but they were married for 74 years, and things back then it's like comparing apples to oranges. You didn't walk in just because you wanted a divorce to get a divorce. Like whenever you were married, it was literally until death do you part, and divorces just were not common. You can never make me change my mind. It's reprobate behavior. Leonardo wants nothing but arm candy. He wants to sit on his yacht and have a pretty young little thing sitting next to him. It's just disgusting.
Man, I'm telling you, this divides everybody with this question. That's in the poll, Christy. Wow. Oh, Lib, you want to go to answer that, Lib?
Go ahead.
No, I think we said everything that needs to be said. I think there's a difference between a man trying to find a wife versus just a predator. But you also got to think about it. She is right to an extent. These bleeps are some hoes anyways. Everybody's having sex with a bunch of. So let me propose a question to everybody. Would you rather an older man wife up a younger woman, or that younger woman go through the ringer and go through a super hoe phase and be through the whole football team, be through the whole school, the whole art class, everyone? Or is it better if she gets wifed up by an older man? What's better? She becomes a big old hoe, or she gets wifed up by an older man, a man of God?
I would rather deal with a hoe going through 20 people and then finding her lifelong person that she's married to and gives her vows to God and finds the right person that's equally yoked than these men that are preying on these 19-year-olds. Absolutely.
Even if they marry them, Christy?
What do you mean if they marry them?
If they
marry them, I mean, it's done. But no, I still don't agree with that age gap difference. I absolutely do not. This is not the same. You're not talking about farmers that married young and lived their life and were married for 74 years with these men sitting on a yacht with J-Lo one week and a 19-year-old the next. No.
Hey,
it's not the same thing. You cannot compare apples and oranges.
I like what Kim Rangel says. DiCaprio is definitely not out here looking for a wife. In my opinion, he's a predator. Can we agree? Okay, is Leonardo DiCaprio a predator? I'm going to say yes. Lib, go ahead. Yes or no?
Oh, definitely. He hasn't wifed up any of these chicks, hasn't had kids with any of them. He just cuts ties. Bye-bye. Sayonara.
Christy, is he a predator? I think we know your answer.
Hell to the yeah.
All right, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank all y'all people for agreeing with me in the comments. I really appreciate my people.
People agreeing with me. Appreciate it.
Hey, but it's all good. We promote free speech, so agree with who you must. Christy, in the poll. In the poll, sis.
So there were 57 votes. What is too old of an age gap? 19% said 5 years, and 10 years was 22%, and 20 years is 57%.
So, sis, that means most of our people kind of agree that 20 years ain't really that big of a deal then, right? If you read the poll correctly?
10 years, I mean, and I go back to life experiences, and I think this is just the social worker in me coming out. And, like a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old isn't that big a deal. A 40-year-old and a 50-year-old is not that big a deal. But if you look at a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old, it's a huge deal. You know what I'm saying? I think it has to do with life experiences. You want the best for your kids, and like whoever her parents are that are proud that she's with this 50-year-old man, and it's just disgusting to me. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Oh, no, I'm playing.
I'm a Kentucky country girl. I was raised with values. I was raised with morals. I was raised that, yeah, it's just not okay with me. Like, people can hate me for saying it. It's just not okay.
Thank you. And with that, final words, Lib.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm sorry I cut you off. I put the other screen on.